All right, folks, welcome back to NewsOne Now here at Clark Atlanta University. Last night, Thurgood Marshall College Fund celebrated their 30th anniversary with a gala in Washington, D.C. Our cameras were there. Here is what took place.
Thank Thurgood Marshall College Fund for your commitment to student success in college and career.
It's about education, you know what I'm saying? And I think that our leaders of tomorrow that are all in this room right now, you know, should look up to someone like Thurgood Marshall and know that they can do exactly what he did and take the baton and run with it. So it was really important for me to be here for that.
Looking at all of y'all up there and all of y'all back there, I know that you are the leaders of tomorrow, and I somehow feel like everything will be okay.
It is so impactful to know that people came out of their pocket, out of their own free will to help little old me go to college. Like, people in this room care so much about young people they don't know. Like, they're actually impacting them on a first-hand basis, and it's very special. It really is.
Went to the historically black colleges on part of the campaign trail, and I had to be honest with you, I was educated myself that we got to go to so many of them. For me to find out that a lot of them were opened by women, African American women, just warmed my heart. I mean, I literally left those kids moved, inspired, enlightened, and so now that I can continue to let them know that I support them, Generation Next, y'all got next. That's what I tell them. I said, it's up to you all. So it was just so wonderful to look out in this sea of students, and they were all African Americans. I mean, I was just like, let me hold on to my lashes, but beautiful. And I'm glad to see that the colleges are all thriving.
Tell your friends and family via social media and encourage them to make a donation as well. Remember, you can't have mission, you can't deliver on your mission without money.
This is extremely personal to me, and actually I just came back from my 25th graduation from Hampton University like 2 days ago. So I'm just like super excited to be here. I mean, it's just so very important what historically black colleges do for people who, like me, just kind of like need to grow up in that environment.
Don't let anything or anyone get in the way of your dreams. Thank you for coming out.
All right, folks, joining us in the studio is Johnny Taylor, CEO of Thurgood Marshall Fund, also Deshauna Barber, Miss USA 2016. Johnny, with the event last night, first of all, how much money did you raise, and what are your goals for 2017, 2018?
Man, it was, by the way, I wish you were there, $4 million. $4 million raised last night for America's black colleges. More importantly, at the end of the night, it was a surprise. United Airlines gave us a $500,000 gift, $500,000, a total surprise for me. And then Jim Clifton from Gallup came in and said he'd match dollar for dollar up to $1 million given last night. So when it's all said and done, we'll be closer to $5 million from last night.
Deshauna, you were also there as well, and so why is it important for you to lend your voice to the Thurgood Marshall College Fund?
Well, I think it's incredibly important, mainly because we have to make sure we're pushing our kids into college. We're pushing them to pursue their education. I, for one, went to Virginia State University, and I had the and I had the opportunity to learn so much about myself, so much about black history, and so much about being a woman of color.
Johnny, one of the things that so first of all, explain to folks who don't know the difference between the Thurgood Marshall Fund and the United Negro College Fund.
So both wonderful organizations, but the United Negro College Fund represents the country's private historically black colleges and universities. We represent the country's public, so the state-supported institutions.
Deshauna, one of the things that we keep making on this show, of course, we did it yesterday, talking here at Clark Atlanta, is getting people to understand why we must fund our own institutions. And it is so difficult when I hear HBCU presidents talk about, giving rates at 3% and 4% and 5%, and I just keep telling folks that It doesn't matter how much you give, but you simply have to give and make it a habit, whether it's tithing every month or whether it's giving an annual donation every year.
I completely agree with you. I think that the only way for us to embrace our community, push our community to be better, is to go back where our universities are taking place and giving back. I, for one, am a alumni for Virginia State, and I always make sure to donate as much as I can per year because I know that the impact that they had on me, I want the same impact on another young man or young woman.
Johnny, in terms of how many students you're serving, how are you doing that beyond supporting institutions, but of course with the various scholars and other events that you have throughout the year?
Yeah, throughout the year we do everything. First of all, we give about 2,000 students scholarships. The scholarships are essentially the equivalent of tuition and fees. So it's a full scholarship that we give to about 2,000 students to attend HBCUs. Interestingly, we're one of the few organizations that almost exclusively, in fact, we are the only organization that exclusively funds HBCUs and their students. So there are a lot of wonderful organizations out there where the money follows the student. So if you attend a majority institution and you're African American, the money will follow you. But at TMCF, the Thurgood Marshall College Fund, where 80% of all HBCU students attend, the money goes exclusively to HBCUs, so it stays in our community. It's funny that you mentioned something. There are really two institutions that are authentically ours, the Black church and the Black college. So when you talk about tithing and the concept of giving back to our churches, we have to embrace that same concept when it comes to Black colleges. Whether you attended an HBCU or not, these are ours. They belong to our community, and we have to invest and pour back into them.
All right, we surely appreciate it. Thanks a lot. And of course, can't say all that. You don't get a website.
www.tmcf.org.
All right, Johnny, we appreciate it. Deshauna, we appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Weekdays on TV One.
I will never lie to you.
Oh my God.
Roland Martin.
He doesn't want to talk to us. He wants to ignore us.
Uncensored.
Hell no.
That ain't gonna cut it, boo.
Unapologetic.
No, that is fundamentally false. You are wrong.
Unfiltered.
He wants an America where we all look alike. He ain't talking about black people.
Unrelenting.
You better go work out, because you got a fight on your hands.
NewsOne Now with Roland Martin. Weekdays at 7 a.m. on TV One.